Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4. It's week 2 of Mark's vacation, and Eric is up for another week.
I feel the disappointment in our viewers when that graphic rolls back, like, oh, he's back. Mark's still on vacation.
Never. Mark will be back not next Monday, next Tuesday.
He'll be tan, too.
So, yes, he will. We'll be very jealous. And weather is the big story today. We're going to get to Karin's forecast in just a second. But topping the news today, the Supreme Court orders President Trump's full travel ban can go into effect.
We'll have more on that. Plus, just over a week away from a special election, the president calls Roy Moore to offer his endorsement.
And Wisconsin is headed to the Sunshine State. We'll tell you what you need to know if you're following the Badgers to the Orange Bowl this year.
Yeah, South Florida might be nice.
Yeah, doesn't that sound...
Especially by New Year's Eve.
That sounds pretty good. Let's take a look outside today.
And thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Karin. And as Karin was just mentioning, the blustery December weather is on its way.
Now, it's welcome news for some local businesses that depend on these colder temperatures. Charlotte DeLeste in our news center has more. Charlotte?
Eric and Susan, hitting the slopes might not be on a lot of minds with the weather we've been having, but at least one local ski resort is making the best of it. Cascade Mountain had 12 trails open over the weekend, but in order to have snow on the slopes, they've had to use more than 25 million gallons of water to produce enough snow to cover the trails. High temperatures also take a toll on the conditions. Grounds crews work overnight to groom trails and get them back into good conditions by the morning.
Over the last couple of weeks, we've only had a couple nights where we were able to make snow. But in that time, if we can pump out 7,000 to 9,000 gallons a minute, that helps us kind of recoup for the next day or the weekend coming.
Cascade Mountain has spent $11 million over the last couple of years on new lifts and snowmaking equipment. This year, they added 40 new snowmaking guns to help coat those trails.
Make sure you stay on the snow, though. They're doing their best, but they need the real stuff to make it all work. Charlotte, thank you.
Thanks, Charlotte.
New at 4, the Supreme Court is allowing the Trump administration to fully enforce a ban on travel to the United States from residents of 6 mostly Muslim countries. In an order today, the justices say that the policy can take full effect even as legal challenges against it make their way through the courts. The ban applies to travelers from Chad, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen.
President Trump today called Alabama Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore to endorse his campaign. Earlier today, the president fully endorsed Moore on Twitter, despite initially hesitating to do so in the wake of several sexual misconduct allegations against Moore. A new CBS poll of likely voters in Alabama has Moore ahead of Democratic nominee Doug Jones, 49% to 43%. Alabama's special election for the Senate seat takes place on December 12th.
President Trump continues to vent his frustration with the ongoing investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election and possible collusion by his associates. Today, he's coming to the defense of his former national security advisor and lashing out at the FBI. Weijia Jiang reports from Washington. Now, Christopher Wray, who replaced James Comey as head of the FBI, has not commented on any of the president's tweets. Director Wray is scheduled to testify on Capitol Hill on Thursday.
We're learning more about the tax overhaul passed by Senate Republicans over the weekend. The Senate approved its version on a 51-49 vote early Saturday morning. The bill cuts the corporate tax rate from 35% to 20%. Individuals and families would get a temporary tax cut. On average, a family of 4 earning $75,000 would see its $2,200 benefit disappear by 2025.
Millions of Americans must be watching in stunned disbelief tonight.
You're comfortable with your vote on this tax bill, and is it there really no matter what comes out of conference?
No, I mean, obviously I want to see what comes out.
The Senate and the House bills need to be combined now, reconciled, a final step that could test the very narrow Senate majority. Congress started setting up that conference committee today.
Well, the Badgers are Orange Bowl bound to play the Miami Hurricanes at the end of the month.
And you could be too. There are a number of travel packages available for the game, and Ardelia Lynchide has more on your options to head to Florida for the new year. Hi.
Hi, guys. This sounds like a perfect vacation if you're looking for one, huh? A trip to the Sunshine State for your New Year's celebration, plus a Badger game. Well, not a bad holiday trip. And you've got a couple options. The UW Alumni Association is offering round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and a UW-sanctioned tailgate party. Tickets start around $1,000. And FunJet also offering an all-inclusive trip. That package starts around $2,500. But a couple people we talked to downtown today say that might be out of their price range.
Hey guys, are you thinking about going to the Orange Bowl?
No.
No, why not?
Because I just don't want to spend that much money to go to a football game.
I just bought my wife a new car, so she had her choice, a bowl game or a new car. She picked the new car.
About the same price, right? So if you're thinking a couple $1,000 isn't really an option, especially right after Christmas, there are other options for you. Coming up tonight at 5, we'll take a look at putting together your own package and compare it to those prices.
Might want to wait a few days after we get some really cold weather. You know, it's 60 today. Miami, you know, you don't need it, but
that's
a couple
true.
of weeks they might want to think
3
that
days,
over.
yeah, and we'll be wanting that Miami weather.
Exactly.
Thanks, Leah.
You're welcome.
All right, a Florida teenager who disappeared for nearly a week is home tonight after running away with a high school soccer coach. 17-year-old Caitlin Frasina was reunited with her parents in Syracuse, New York over the weekend.
When you saw her for the first time, what was that like for you, Ward?
Like the weight of the world being off my shoulders finally.
Shot with.
I know.
Police say Caitlin left last week with 27-year-old Ryan Rodriguez. A New York State trooper noticed Rodriguez's car in a shopping mall parking lot and arrested him without incident. According to the arrest warrant, Caitlin's parents discovered sexual messages from Snapchat after Caitlin disappeared that confirmed a possible relationship between their daughter and Rodriguez.
Did she tell you why she left?
We haven't gotten into all of that yet, and we will at some point.
Rodriguez faces a felony charge in Florida of interfering with a child custody, and he could face additional federal charges for taking Frasina across state lines.
Stocks traded higher today. Investors were feeling good after the Senate narrowly passed a major tax bill over the weekend. The Dow and the S&P both hit record highs, with the Dow ending the day up 58 points. The Nasdaq, however, was down 72 at the close. Doctors in Dallas are celebrating the birth of the first baby in the United States born to a mother with a transplanted uterus. Nikki Batiste reports from New York. Doctors will remove the transplanted uterus after the first or second pregnancy because the mother can't stay on anti-rejection drugs indefinitely. The world's first baby boy from a transplanted uterus was delivered in Sweden in 2014, and a woman in Cleveland received a transplanted uterus last year, but it was removed due to complications.
There is more ahead at 4. It's a movie about a movie.
The original was a disaster, but Will Loper says the disaster artist is definitely worth seeing. His review is coming up when Live at 4 continues.